Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Anime Night in the Dojo. Today's featured show, Shield Hero, Season 4.
Yep, Shield Hero, Season 4, Episode 1. Welcome back to the dojo. I'm Ryu. That's Age. We're back for more Anime Night in the dojo, and, well, gotta keep doing this PSA for every show this week, even if it's new. It's still on a different channel and stuff like that. So we're back. If you guys want to know what happened to the other channel, if you found me from before, it's up there. My channel being terminated. Still in the process of seeing what I can do about that. I'll have an update for that whenever. But we'll be doing timer-based reactions from now on. That will be exclusively on Patreon, even though there are YouTube embed, because I can't manually upload videos to Patreon because reasons I don't understand. So for now, it's just going to be an embedded link that is specifically for Patreon, so that's the only place you're going to be able to see that for the timer-based stuff. And then the discussions and reviews will be here on YouTube as part of these. But the intros are going to be part of both videos. That's just how it is. So either way, that's how it's going to be going forward. The reactions and timer-based stuff, if you want to watch along with us, will be there on Patreon for free. There's no paywall. And then here, the rest of it is going to be on YouTube as per usual, in the usual schedule. So that's how it's going to be. It's been a really weird couple weeks for us, but we're going to keep the show going here. And back to Shield Hero. Last time we saw Naofumi and the gang, it was like January of 2024. So it's been a solid year and a half. We got the band together. We got all the nerds together. All the heroes are working together after the events of last season. Raphtalia has her own, unique weapon and stuff like that. We got a couple new characters, and we're gonna go take on the Phoenix. What? We're not doing that. We're gonna do something else entirely. Yep. We're not doing the Waves or the Phoenix stuff this season, apparently, based on what's been talked about in the trailers and stuff like that. Unlike Dress Up Darling, one of the few things that I have source material knowledge on, well, we do have some source material knowledge on Shield Hero. It's not extensive, and we don't really know when the Wave stuff is going to continue, but this show has a lot of stuff that they've alluded to that sounds like they're going to get to it potentially, with the stuff with the Waves, the stuff with the Isekai Quartet movie potentially being more tied to the Shield Hero verse than any of the others, that kind of thing. Like the world they went to that could have been a world that lost to the Waves, that kind of thing. Or just lost a war with the Waves from, being like how we figured that it's like a competition kind of thing. But with all the stuff that's going on in Shield Hero, the fact that they're diverting for a side story, and, it's the author's prerogative or whatever, and if it ends up being solid and reasonable enough for the story, then that's fine. But it's kind of weird to get the band together, and then Naofumi's like, hold on, I gotta go deal with this thing in this Beast Kingdom. It's like, okay. So it kind of weirds me out. And not that we ever get super hyped up for anything, because we just like to, we'd rather be pleasantly surprised than just like hype up for something and be disappointed. We mentioned that on every new kind of thing. Since Shield Hero, we've done every season of Shield Hero on the channel except for season 1. We've done 2, 3, and 4 now for the channel with a reaction and review series. Just on the premise alone, I'm not really that interested. You know what I mean? Like, I was interested in the Phoenix stuff and what was going on with like the ties to Japan, getting all the cardinal heroes together, all that stuff, what's going on with the Waves, what's going on with the other worlds and stuff like that. But a random Raphtalia based side story with some kind of like traitor to the crown thing or whatever what's going on, or like usurper that they think Raphtalia is that really necessary after she got like a cardinal hero weapon from another world? Like, to me, that just seems to go off track, you know what I mean? And I'm not sure how long this series is supposed to go, like where the source material is at and that kind of thing. But just from that perspective of it gives me that like Bount Saga thing from Bleach, you know what I mean? That kind of vibe. And that was not a good freaking saga. It's just so It's just one of those things where I look at this and go, A, do we need this? And B, I look at it just from a personal standpoint and go, why do I get this feeling that this is just not going to be great? You know what I mean? And you could probably look at it and like in the future, we could look at it and go, you guys can skip season 4. Just read the cliff notes if you want some random like Raftalia lore and side Naofumi stuff and what's going on with this kingdom, and just skip to the major stuff with the Phoenix and the whatever comes after this, because it just doesn't feel like it flows with the show. You know what I mean? It feels like a literal side quest in a game that just doesn't need to be there. The Otherworld stuff, them going to the Otherworld, Raftalia getting the katana, vassal weapon, all that stuff, that all tracked. That all made sense that for what was going on. Getting the band together, that all made sense for what's going on. But this, we'll just have to see. I'm obviously going to reserve judgment, but just from the outlook and the trailer stuff, I'm looking at this going, are we really doing this? So, yeah, I'm not really too excited about this season from just like that kind of standpoint, because it just kind of seems pointless to me from like a synopsis. You know what I mean? That's just me. If it's good, great, we'll talk about it. I'll whatever. But just from the outset, it just feels like kind of weird to just divert from that like build up to fighting the Phoenix and dealing with the next wave and all that stuff to go do this. Maybe this isn't the entire season. Maybe this is going to be like a half a season kind of deal, and then we go back to the previously scheduled programming. But yeah, I'm just the amount of disinterest from the outset for me especially is just not there. Maybe it'd be different, obviously, if I read the manga, the source material, and I knew what was coming after this, and I just kind of like tough it out. But I don't. And I'm not going to. For any ongoing series that we've done, like anime only, the only stuff that we'd ever do is like go back and look kind of deal. Or just to confirm a couple things in the future maybe, but nothing like super major or knowing like literally everything. So, that's where I'm at. I'm in town for this right now.
I'm trying to see where we are in the source material, but I'm having a really hard time matching up the events of season 3 to the names of the chapters for the novels.
Well, either way, I'm gonna let Age look at that for a little bit more, but we're gonna push some buttons and get started here. So people on YouTube, we'll see you on the other side of the edit as per usual for the discussion and review, and we'll get the Patreon stuff set up, timer-based react stuff in a moment. So here goes something. Well, alrighty then. You guys might not see it in this shot, but there was red tape all over this area and episode like a damn crime scene. And written on it was recap. I believe I've mentioned this before, but everything that Naofumi went through in this episode is stuff that I cannot stand. Period. Like, because I kind of like try to like put myself into the character's perspective when they're dealing with stuff sometimes, and that's how I've always been with Naofumi, is like how he had to deal with like everything that he's had to deal with, and how unbelievably aggravating it had to have been him just from the beginning of this series. And especially from the beginning, like being betrayed and all that kind of stuff. It's just, and then when it comes to this kind of nonsense with just like being handled in a place where you're like revered and worshipped and stuff like that, he already said that he has no plans of changing anything about their country. You know what I mean? And they're just basically just trying to stick him in a room and put him in a timeout corner and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, you worship this guy or the shield hero, which there have been multiple shield heroes, but just in general as a god, basically, and you just want to tell them what they can and can't do. Obviously, you know, if he were to do something like detrimental to the country and stuff like that, yeah, whatever. But all he was asking was to not be cooped up in a room, allowed to just be walking around exploring the place because he's never been there, and he wants the boat to get to Cute and Low as quickly as possible because, hi, we're on a freaking clock. You know what I mean? I don't have time for this literal nonsense. Like, just, it's one of those things where Naofumi does have that in him to just kind of like tell people off and, you know, just like be real about everything. But since these are, it's the kind of like that delicate balance of, you know, they are technically allies and stuff like that because they, you know, worship and revere the shield hero. But it's just one of those situations where, me personally, I have zero patience for my time being wasted. Zero. And that is exactly what's happening here. Is like, well, you can't do this thing until we do this thing. And then the harem shit that the queen mentioned. Are you kidding me? So obviously that's going to somehow play a factor into this. And he is, well, we all know that Naofumi is immune to feminine wiles for the most part, especially after the Malti incident. Not to say that like she successfully seduced him or anything. It's kind of like took her as a companion, not like, oh man, she's super hot, I want to like have her in my party or whatever. He's never been that character. He's not freaking Kazuma. But it's just one of those things where I was already aggravated by the premise of what's going on here, and then they compound on it with this freaking red tape the episode and like characters like this that just like want to handle him and like tell him what he can and can't do as like a visitor and stuff like that. Is just like it physically pains me, you know what I mean, that just this kind of thing has to exist. All the guy wants to do is get his business done and move on and deal with the situation at hand, but it's just like, no, you have to stay here and appease us because, you know, if you, it's just, they're kind of like treating him almost like a health inspector in certain ways. It's like, we can't possibly have a surprise visit from the shield hero without preparing. It's like, why not? You know what I mean? Shouldn't the surprise visit be super cool? It's like, I don't need to be like worshipped and have like all this stuff thrown at me. It's cool. It's really not that big of a deal. But these kind of like, this kind of culture aggravates me. And it just...
Especially because, like, once again, it's not even him that they worship, per se. They just worship the shield hero in general because, like, 2 or 3 shield heroes ago, their country was saved by the shield hero.
Right. It's... I don't even know what to compare that to. Like... If you were, like, randomly saved by, like, I don't know, a random captain of country's military, and they just started revering captains of like the 5th Regiment. I just, you know what I mean? You can't, or just like a specific bloodline or something like that. It's just kind of weird. So I don't know. It just, this whole episode just really aggravated me. And it's a real shame that Dress Up Darling is before this. Because, man, I kind of need it to be after, but that's not the case. So, yeah. At least we have Sakamoto Days, which is generally, it puts me in a decent mood. But if this is how the majority of the season is going to be, like Age looked it up, and basically the demi-human stuff with Silfelt and all the stuff that's going on here, probably with Cute and Low, is about 2.5 volumes. So, without, you know, obviously spoilers and stuff like that, you can kind of infer stuff by chapter titles. That's what you did.
Yeah.
So it's probably not going to be this whole season, but they need to throw in some comedy here. There was some comedy in this episode, and most shows have that kind of those breaks in comedy. But for me, I before we finish our recording session with Sakamoto Days here in a little bit, I have to go walk this off. Because, man, am I just aggravated by nonsense like this. Even when it's not happening to me, I can't help but just feel like it is happening to me when it's this kind of aggravating. Because I have to witness it. You know what I mean? So, it's just... I can't with this. So, hopefully it improves. We deal with the situation in Cute and Low and we can get out of here. But it's probably going to be a solid 8 or so episodes of maybe not this exact kind of like being handled by like random red tape nonsense. But
Yeah, we'll probably only get like 3 or 4 episodes of Silpelt here. But yeah, then we still have to deal with Cutenlo. Like, we're not even to the actual objective right now.
right. So it's just one of those things where there are certain things you have your pet peeves, you have your dislikes and stuff like that. And this kind of thing, if I were in an Naofumi situation, I would just be insistent and be like, listen, we're on a timer. The Phoenix is coming soon. I can't go around with you guys all day, especially for days or weeks on end. Not doing this. I cannot do this. I have far more important things to do than sit around and play house with you guys and just be like the local deity. This is stupid. So
We don't have time to play politics with you. We have months at best until world-ending threat hits again.
yeah, and we need to get everybody situated. They did have that thing with the other 2 heroes that are still sitting around in Naofumi's village, the bow and sword hero, who are just kind of recuperating and stuff like that. Apparently their curse is still active and stuff like that, so they're kind of just recuperating from that nonsense from last season so that they can be ready, because, you know, it just can't be all of Naofumi's party and stuff like that. They need the cardinal heroes to do the thing and whatnot, so them being back to full strength and stuff like that is important. So except for the spear guy, which I guess that was a solid bit of comedy. There was so much BS with the red tape that I forgot about that bit of comedy, and that was pretty damn good. The line about "I don't want to be killed by a weirdo," freaking classic.
Yeah, Motoyasu has been all over the place in this series. Like, he was super insufferable at the beginning, and then got like turned into a comedic character over time.
Right. Like we mentioned during the live reaction there of just is he just a wielder of Excalibur from, you know, the Fire Force / Soul Universe, or what? We did see that he did collect some birds here, so good on him. He's got his not Philo entourage here. Because I believe the last time we saw him, he was running around like on foot. And like, so now he's trying to imitate his father. Yeah, it's, you know, like when Nor beat the frog in I Parry Everything. It's Naofumi's totally his dad, so he's got to protect his father's lands and have all these different versions of Philo and not Philo. But
Well, yeah, like he's collected some Philolials to run around on a carriage with, but once again, Philo is a royal Philolial, which are extremely rare.
right, which we did get a request from the current queen, and she is allowing Naofumi to brush it off, but I guess there's another side quest for him to deal with, so at some point we'll get to that, because she did make a very, very serious threat the first time. So it'll be interesting to see how long she'll wait around before she, you know, gets impatient and just wants to, you know, murder the morons. So that standing threat of hers is still standing. In case anybody forgot, she's not messing around. So
yeah, once again, you can't summon a new cardinal hero as long as the current one still alive. So she's got that standing threat of, well, if you guys won't do what's necessary, I'll just kill you and summon new ones.
pretty much. I mean, it's just like we need replacements, so we're gonna call up the next group. It doesn't really matter. We can just isekai 4 other random nerds from 4 other, you know, Japans, assuming that's how it works, considering all the other Japanese paraphernalia that's been lying around. Which, in case anybody forgot, the 4 cardinal heroes are all from Japan, but not the same Japan. They're all from vaguely different versions of Japan, so multiverse.
Yeah, whatever this world's cardinal hero like summoning magic is, it always targets Japan. It's just different alternate timelines and whatnot of Japan.
Right.
But it seems like the other worlds that are involved don't necessarily, because most of the other ones weren't from Japan specifically.
Right.
Like I believe the fishing hero, she was from Japan, I believe. But pretty much all the other ones we'd seen have not been from Japan.
Right. So yeah, I can only say so much about this episode for what it was. Again, it was pretty much just red tape and recap. We had some hilarity with Motoyasu. The queen here with her harem explanation was moderately hilarious. But even with all the hilarity that was in this episode, now that I remember most of it, the stuff with the White Tiger twins, that was good. But man, for me personally, the red tape just kills the mood for me. And it was already not really, an amazing episode by any stretch of the imagination. It's just like prep work and stuff like that. It's cool that we got to see Galleon again and stuff like that he's actually being useful and whatnot. But other than that, it's just, there's nothing really we can say about this other than me being annoyed. And I want to be annoyed for the least amount of time possible. So, if you got anything else, Age, by all means, but I'm done. I want to move on. I'm out. I'm just done.
Yeah, no, so we already got that kind of established before, that like using Galleon to travel, because Naofumi can teleport to anywhere he's been already, but he still needs some method to get there in the first place.
Right.
And then for the twins, Atma is still like the savant, and she still has her obsessive fanaticism towards Naofumi.
Right.
Like, even more so than the friggin' Siltheltians do.
Yep. In case anybody forgot that one. You know what we didn't forget? About the 12-minute mark on Crunchyroll. It's getting very consistent. So I can potentially prepare for it, but not really. Speaking of things that annoy me. So, yeah, again, I hope this season turns out better than I expect it to be. But I'm not really expecting much, so I just hope I'm not annoyed any longer. But I get the feeling we're going to be in red tape land, bare minimum, at least the next episode. Bare minimum, one more episode of this nonsense. So
I'm thinking like 3 or 4 episodes total for Siltfelt.
I hope not. I really hope not, but we'll just have to see based on everything that was established with the political stuff and what's going on. Because there definitely seems to be factions in the demi-human races that tolerate the shield hero, but don't worship him like the major ones do. The lion guy does seem sus.
Yeah.
And then we had the guy that looked vaguely White Tiger that was hiding from him. So
yeah, the lion guy is probably one of the bigger, more influential anti-Naofumi members, and just wants to get him out. But that is an established lore that we have, is that all demi-humans look up to the shield hero, but specifically Siltfelt that worships him because of their whole thing of, like I said, being saved by several shield heroes ago.
Right. Which kind of leads me back to...
Shield heroes have all had... I was saying, but all the shield heroes have always had some connection to the demi-humans. It's just like an established thing.
Yep. Well, which again, that kind of leads me back to stuff that we talked about before with just really quick here, that you need to look at the individual. You know what I mean? You need to look at Naofumi and what he is doing, not what past builders, or whatever you want to call them, past shield heroes have done for you, because if one shield hero, say, did this for you, that doesn't mean the next one's going to do that. If the next one kind of screwed you over, that doesn't mean the next one is also going to screw you over. You have to see how they do. You know what I mean? You can't just keep lumping people into groups and groups into stereotypes, kind of. So
yeah, which in general, that's been just story of the freaking whole series, because once again, Naofumi's whole initial introduction to this world was everyone shitting on him because non-demi-humans hate the shield hero.
Yep. So either way, I hope it gets better. I don't want to be aggravated every week. I really don't. So we'll just have to see what happens from here. But again, I believe we mentioned this in the Patreon stuff, but the last time the source material got updated was in December 2021, but that was volume 22, and this stuff occurs around volume 12 to 13, so
Yeah,
we got a
this
ways to go.
Story arc, yeah, the story arc, I believe, is the start of volume 13.
Yep. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, people of YouTube beyond, however you're watching, we always appreciate you stopping by and hanging with us around the dojo for more Anime Night in the Dojo. This was Shield Hero, Season 4, Episode 1. So, have a good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it is for you. Have a good one. We'll see you next time.
Hey everyone, Victoria here. If you enjoyed the video, please consider pushing those like and subscribe buttons. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thanks again for your time, and we hope to see you again in the future.